Appreciate everybody being on today. Yeah, just really, in recapping, thought our kids were really special on Sunday. Obviously had a great crowd and over almost 11,000. I thought the atmosphere and it was really great for both teams to be able to play in that kind of environment. And but again, just a lot of respect and admiration for Coach Ariam and his program. And, just it took us playing really well to have a chance to win. And proud of our kids. Obviously, the national media feels the same way. Rory was Player of the Week in the Big 12, and Booker was Freshman of the Week. And then I think today it's already out. Rory was AP and USBWA National Player of the Week, and Booker was National Freshman of the Week. So I think it was a great game for women's college basketball. We were certainly honored to be a part of the Jimmy V Week and all that comes with that. And now we got to get ready and play again tomorrow night against a really good Long Beach State team coached by Amy Wright, one of my former players at Arkansas, and someone that knows us well, was an assistant at A&M and Oklahoma, and somebody that I've gone against a long time while she's been an assistant, and she's finally getting her opportunity to be a head coach, and rightfully so. So always worried, I'm always coaching against the ghost, always worried about how your kids respond after having to have great focus and be up for that game on Sunday. Obviously moving up 5 spots in the poll to number 5, trying to convey to them staying humble and hungry, one game at a time mentality. It's something that we talked about yesterday, and just to keep working and getting better. So hopefully today's practice will be better than yesterday's. Typical yesterday practice after a big game like we had on Sunday. And so I needed to be a little bit better today, but proud of our kids, proud of our fan base. Again, it was, it took a special effort from our kids, and they certainly were all of that and more on Sunday.
Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Vic. Could you describe the extent of Amina Muhammad's development between last season and this season?
Pretty crazy, isn't it, Mark? I mean, she's without a doubt the most improved player on our team. To be her size, she's our second best on-ball defender on our team besides Rory. And she can guard 1 through 5. So the kids, I think the thing that separates her right now is her energy level. She plays really hard. She had 6 offensive boards on Sunday. She went 6 for 8, and the 2 she missed were right at the cup. She could have easily been 8 for 8, but I think just her development, or she's really learning the game every day, every week, and she has good chemistry with our team. She understands what she can and can't do defensively as far as switching, and when she needs to hedge a ball screen, when she stays home, those kinds of things. But her quickness and athleticism allow her to do some things defensively that I don't have another player like her. She's really unique. And so she's got some toughness to her. You saw her the other day. She took a pretty good spill after a pretty hard foul. Bounced up, made 2 free throws. And I asked her yesterday, I said, "How you feeling? You a little sore?" She said, "Just to the touch." I said, "Well, I guess that's probably true." And she said, "No, but I'm okay." She said, well, then I'm okay. And I said, well, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough fall for her, pretty tough, a lot of contact on that foul. So anyway, she's certainly the most improved player on our team without a doubt.
Thank you.
Kirk, go ahead. There you go.
Sorry, had to find the button, Vic.
Vic, you're number one in the country in turnover margin. Is that maybe the biggest area where your team has improved from last year? And also just the UConn. I know you've beaten them before, but is this a springboard of any type for your program here at Texas?
I mean, to answer the second one first, I mean, I think you have to, I mean, again, a lot of respect and admiration for Connecticut and obviously Coach and what they've done traditionally and been historically for our game. But you have to keep in mind, I told our players this the other night. Number one, it's a non-conference game. Number two, we were the higher ranked team, by the way. And so I think you have to keep those things in perspective. But I'm going to say this. There is no way on this earth that that's the 17th ranked team in the country. And that's where they fall into. There's no way. I know what I'm looking at when I watch them on film, and I dang sure I know who's leading that group. And there is no way they're that. But that being said, you know, so I think certainly to our fan base, it's, you know, a big day, and we all know that. And for us, I mean, we have a lot of respect and admiration for them, right? But at the end of the day, non-conference game, you know, we had a pretty good knockdown drag out with them last year, and we didn't have Rory. They didn't have Paige. This time we didn't have Deanna. They didn't have AZ. So neither one of us has really been able to play each other at full steam. But so, you know, so I think that's the answer you're looking for. What was the first part of the question?
The turnover margin is one of the biggest areas.
That's critical. I mean, I'm no different than football and, you know, baseball with errors, right? It's hard to win when you're turning the ball over. And I think it starts with Rory. You know, I think she's number one in the country in that area, or certainly in the top. I can't see the paper I've got is really small, but
Coach, she's got 73 assists and 10 turnovers this year.
Yeah, so she's 7.3 to 1. So that's pretty good. I think the best point guard I ever had over the course of a season was 4 to 1, and that was Jasmine Holmes. So, you know, right now she's doing a great job taking care of the ball, and that's where it starts. If she's not throwing it all over the gym, our team doesn't typically do it either. So, you know, I think that's a really important stat from a team perspective. We had 9 turnovers against Connecticut the other night and forced 21. And that was part of the reason why we got 24 more shots than they did. So all that's, you know, those numbers are all pretty important.
Howard?
Good to see you, Coach. Jeremy, thank you for putting this together as usual. Coach, two things. The first is it's real early to say this, but if you go by points per possession, this group is actually at 120.6. It's just ahead of that 18-19 team you had in Mississippi State. And I'm wondering whether you think this is the best offensive team you've ever had.
It's a little early. That's what I'll agree with you. I tell you, though, what makes this team a little bit unique, and I said, you know, is Booker creates opportunities for everybody else like Rory does, but she also creates for Rory. Mm-hmm. We haven't had that. You know, we haven't had that off guard that could create some opportunities for Rory or put her in a position where she can do some things like she's doing. And so I just think that's what you add. We now have 2 guards that can create their own shot. And that makes a big difference on a team. And, you know, if you add Gaston into the group now, she's going to get to play tomorrow night. That's another player that can go get her shot. She can create her own shot. So Shay's developed that a little bit, but still not real comfortable off the bounce. If she can get to her spot, she's usually pretty good elevating over people. But that to me is what kind of makes this team a little unique. And I said it the other night in the post game, like if we score 80 a night, and again, I have so much. I know that Connecticut team. I know Coach. Nobody really talks about them defensively, but they're always really good defensively. Those kids play really hard on that, and they're smart. They play personnel. And so if we're able to score 80 points every night, we're going to play a long time.
And just related to that, something that, I mean, we talked a little bit about Rory and about, 7.3 to 1 assist to turnovers. If you go by like turnover versus assist percentage, there hasn't been anyone, as long as it's been measured, that has an assist percentage north of 40 and a turnover percentage south of 10. What is allowing her not just to have the type of season that she's had relative to the last 2 years, but to take it to another level so far for you guys?
Well, again, I think it's maturity and just her not the 50-50. She knows I'm not interested in 50-50s, the passes. But just her maturity and being a little bit older, a little bit wiser. And then she's surrounded by some pretty good players. And so it doesn't come down to her always having to create the shot at the end of the shot clock. We got Booker that can do that. Gaston will be able to do that a little bit. We haven't really got down to the end of the shot clock a lot because we're taking care of the ball. And again, I think when you take care of the ball, if you make layups, don't turn the ball over, and make free throws, you can win a lot of games in women's basketball. And I think, that's the biggest disappointment I have right now is we're rated 288 in free throw percentage. I'll be working on that, Howard, promise you. Because we're leaving about 6.5 points a game on the table because of free throws. So we've already missed 64 free throws this year in 10 games. So, and that's about what we did last year, and to be honest with you, because we looked at those metrics earlier. So, but I just think what's allowing us is that she's really become more cognizant of not turning it over. She's got some really good players around her, and she understands playing for her coach the importance of not turning the ball over.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
And thank you.
Noah?
Hey, Coach, wanted to ask about the aforementioned ghost. I know you said you hope practice is a little bit better today. What is it about your group that kind of gives you confidence that, they can handle how much emotion, how much energy was there this weekend and can kind of move on and know that there's a long season ahead of them?
Yeah, you've heard coaches say it, don't drink the poison. And of course, you walk around, everybody's patting you on the back and all that. But again, staying humble and hungry. Again, no disrespect, but realizing, we were the higher ranked team on Sunday. I know it's a big deal, and it is a big deal, but we defended the home court. They beat us last year at their place, and we were the higher ranked team then. This year we were, and we defended our home court. So just keeping them grounded. No, we're a veteran team. We've got 3 freshmen, of which, 2 of them are playing. But we're a veteran team for the most part. So like I told them yesterday, we got bumped up to 5, but you want a goal, go try to be number 1. If that needs to be your focus to get your attention, to be the best you can be every day, so that every night when the lights come on, we can function at a high level, then let that be your motivation. But just trying to one game at a time and just keep them grounded a little bit, because it is hard when you're young, and they've got a lot invested. There's no doubt this group invests a ton. When you have success, you want to see them have success, but and like I said, it's just hard for young people, as when everybody's patting you on the back and telling you you're the next best thing since sliced bread. Humble and hungry sometimes can be problems. So I'll know more today, watching my team work out. We didn't just have a great practice when we came back from the 3 games we swept over in the islands and played so well over there. So hopefully we'll be a little more focused and intentional with our work today.
Mark?
Oh, sorry. Vic, what are reasonable expectations as far as Aaliyah getting back to where she was at the end of her freshman year, and what might her role be moving forward?
Well, I think we all, I know I do. I have the expectation of getting her back to there. It's really hard when you've been out 10 months, with the rust that you build up. You're not going to knock that off in a month. It just doesn't happen. And you're not going to knock it off in the 4 or 5 games that she's played now. So again, I think she's, I think we, she wants to do so well. She's probably pressing a little bit, trying to do a lot in a short period of time, and she doesn't need to. We've got a really good team. Nobody on our team needs to press. Nobody needs to think they got to do it all. And so she just, I'm going to work my tail off to help her get back to where she was. And, it's a confidence thing. It's when you've been out, the game is a fast game. And so the pace of the game and being able to defend, being able to attack people off the bounce, then the physical part of being able to get back to jumping. She used to be a really explosive jumper, and she's not quite jumping as high as she was. And I get on her, I don't get on her, but I tell her that every day when we're doing a drill that you got to jump up and touch the backboard. Come on, Abo, show me out, show me that wrist up there on the backboard. And she's about at half of her hand right now. And she knows that's a goal we keep pushing for every day. But, we're working hard to get her there because she's a heck of a player and a great kid. I want it as bad for her as she wants it. But I also know it just doesn't happen overnight, and it's work. Like, it's just because a doctor clears you doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're 100% and you're, back to your old self. Right. And so I think that's where kids sometimes have a hard time, is that they've got to really work at it. Like, they got to put in the time to get back to where they were. I love Gaston. She's been out 6 weeks today, but she's been in the gym shooting and doing things for a while now. And she's looked good for a week in practice. And so when she's, full go yesterday, she looks really good to me. And so these kids, they know it's hard to sit out, it's your craft. It's hard to, especially a physical craft, it's hard to sit out and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm good to go, and you be as sharp as you used to be.
Thank you.
Kirk? Vic, is the plan for Aaliyah to play her tomorrow, and how many minutes might you get out of her realistically?
Aaliyah or Deanna?
Aaliyah. Is she close to ready?
Amo's been playing, Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah, Amo's been playing. It's Deanna Gaston that'll be back for the first time this year. My first team all Big 12.
And how many minutes do you want to get out of her?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
If I can get, 10, 12, 15 out of her, I'm sure conditioning will be part of it, and we'll see how much time we can get out of her. I think the thing about Deanna, she can play 4 and 5 pretty effectively, both offensively and defensively. So we'll kind of see how it goes and go from there.
And Vic, I heard you on the Sirius Radio the last 2 weeks. I don't know when you're getting your own national show, but you talked about football. Are you of the opinion that rising tide lifts all boats in the program?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I just I absolutely believe. I think it's evident. I think you see it. I mean, it's really unbelievable. It's awesome. I'm so happy for Coach, and I know how hard it is. Like I just don't, I don't know if people really understand how hard it is to do what he's done, even in year 10. He's done it in 3 short years. Look, we all have this, this vision of Texas women's basketball too, and how it's been throughout the course of time. And absolutely, it is a program that's had so much success, yet they hadn't won a conference championship here in 20 years until last year. And I'll say it, like, that was almost an afterthought. Nobody really wrote a big story about it that I remember. Nobody really made a big deal about it. It's just like, ho hum. They did win the Big 12, but they were 26-10 and got beat in the second round of the NCAA tournament. It's like people can't wait to come around in the back end and stick you with that, and they don't really go, hey, this is the first Big 12 championship regular season that they won in 20. They won a tournament championship the year before, which they hadn't done in 20 years. So we've won 2 in 3 years, but it's just you aren't playing for the national championship around here. It's almost like an after, it's like, no big deal. And it's just back to your thing about Sark. I mean, what they've been able to do and transform a roster, from a previous staff to what he needed in those 3 short years is really incredible. And as a coach, I know how hard it is and what they've been able to do. I'm just so excited for them. I'm excited for our fan base. You and I both know this place has been starving for it. It's a passionate, invested fan base, and you got to be happy for all of them as well. And you and I both know it takes a lot of people to make that happen, and so there's a lot of people that have so much invested in it. Obviously the coaches and the players are have the brunt of that, but really, yeah, it makes everything a lot better.
Thanks, Vic.
You bet. Thank you.
Joe.
Coach, just I don't know if you addressed this already, but just a nice problem to have for you with Deanna starting to come back, Amo kind of getting back, and now Taylor playing the way she's been playing. How nice of a problem is that to have for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, Taylor and Hattie, Hadijah Faye, they've both been my 2-headed monster at 5. Gaston can play 4 and 5, and obviously was first team all Big 12 at the 4 a year ago. Amo getting healthy and Amina being our most improved player at 4. The energy and the effort that she plays with, I told them both yesterday, it's great, but Amina Muhammad ain't going to just give it to you. She's playing 28.5 minutes a game. That's more than anybody on our team, shooting 68%, 32 offensive rebounds in 9 games, almost 4 a game, leads second on the team in rebounding behind Jones. She's just really doing a great job. And with her energy, effort, her toughness, it is nice, but we've got some really good competition going on right now down there. And, at 4 and 5, and, those kids know it. I mean, it's a good problem to have if you want to get in a fight. And, those kids got to get in the fight and got to compete every day.
Anything else for Coach? Okay. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Praise the Lord and Longhorns.
Thank you, Vic.
Thank you,
Thank
Vic.
y'all. This was a big time panel, man. I'm fired up. Appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah, Leah, what would you say the win over UConn meant for this team, even though y'all are already ranked higher than them, beating them for the first time in Texas program history?
Yeah, it meant a lot. I think for us, it just goes to show all the hard work we've been putting in since last year. Of course, last year didn't end how we wanted it. And so we knew immediately we need to put our heads down and go to work so we don't repeat that. And I think a lot of people said our schedule before UConn wasn't was weak. It wasn't the best, which leave that up to them to decide. But I think that those games and every day in practice prepared us for games like UConn. And I believe we just showed up and we were ready and we hit first. And that's what we work on every day in practice.
Noah?
Hey, Aaliyah, I know you've been working back yourself, but just excitement from your perspective to get Deanna back. I mean, is there a buzz that you guys are finally kind of, I know it's going to be a long way away till everybody's 100%, but finally kind of getting everybody on the court healthy?
Oh my gosh, yes. That's all we were praying for is healthiness from everyone. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. You already saw we're really good. We just beat UConn, and that was minus. That's without Deanna. And so it's really exciting to get me fully back healthy, get her back out there. We're gonna be really scary. So people should definitely be aware when we are healthy, we're gonna cause a lot of problems.
Mark?
Yeah, you mentioned healthy. How close are you? Obviously, as Vic said, being cleared and being completely back are two different things. Where are you in that range right now, as far as the player we've seen that you could be?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been tougher for me because I'll say like I'm not where I was before. People always tell me you're not gonna be where you were before. Like it's just a different you, a different body, a different knee, obviously. And so my goal is just to get back playing confident. Feeling not how I was before, but feeling even better than I was before, and just feeling confident, like I said, like in my new body, and trying to figure out with my knee, working out with the brace now, playing with that. I haven't had to play with the brace up until now. So that's been something I've had to adjust to mentally and physically. And so I am cleared, but like you said, it is different from actually feeling, confident and ready to play. And so that's what I'm working hard on every day in practice, is just kind of getting used to, like I said, not my old self, but being a new, better version of myself.
Go back to Kirk.
Yeah, Leah, you obviously, unfortunately, had to spend a lot of time watching last year's team after your injury. What do you see as the biggest difference in this team? How do you feel like it's better? And I guess depth is probably one of them.
Yeah, definitely depth. I think seniority, having that wisdom. I'm now considered upperclassman. Rory's upperclassman. Most of our team is now. Before we were mainly a younger team. So I think that's something that's been really helping us. We have a lot of kids with experience. Even though I was on the sideline, I still bring a different perspective because I was on the sideline. And being here a junior, being here 3 years now, like I said, a different perspective. I can bring that different leadership from what I saw on the sideline, what we need to improve on. Like I said, we don't want to repeat what happened last year. And so I think, yeah, just the maturity that we have this year, the older kids that have been to the wars, as coach would say, has definitely helped this team improve a lot.
And one thing Vic just told us, he said, yeah, it's great you move up 5 spots to number 5, but he said, if you really want to set a goal, try to be number 1,
Yeah.
and staying hungry and humble, as he put it. What does this team need to do to elevate those last 4 spots and get to the top, would you say?
I would just say buy in every day. I think we've done a good job of doing that so far, but we need consistency. We don't want to have one game where we slip off, because that one game can, like you said, be that factor, between being number 5 and being number 1. And so we just need to stay consistent, work as hard as we can every day in practice, because every other team in the country is working hard. But we believe over here that we're going to work even harder. Like Texas fight, it's different. And so if we just have consistency every night, I believe I put my team against anyone in the country, and I think that we can be in that number 1 spot.
Joe?
Aaliyah, how do you guys take care of business tomorrow and not let UConn kind of hang around and get you guys down a little bit?
Well, I think what a lot of people need to realize too is that yes, UConn was a big game, but it was any other game. I mean, let's be honest. We're also a good program. I feel like people can say we were the underdogs, whatever it is, what it is. At the end of the day, we were ranked higher. We work hard every day to win games like that. And so I get that it was a big game, but to us, it was a win and we're moving on. It's on to the next at the end of the day. And so we need to take care of business tomorrow, next week, the month after that. Like we have bigger goals ahead of us. And so, yes, it was a great win and we celebrated, but at the end of the day, it's Tuesday, it's time to move on and we have bigger things ahead of us.
Thank you,
Mark?
You had a game last week where Taylor shot 11 for 11 inside, and then the next game, Harmon and Booker are making jump shots. Is that kind of a game-to-game thing, depending on the opponent? You know, what type of approach you're going to take?
Yes, it really just depends on the team. I feel like the game when Taylor went 11 for 11, we played a team that didn't have that much size. And so our goal was to, bang it inside down low. Like we expected Taylor to do that. And then you might play a team like UConn who has more size. So we kind of have to utilize our outside game a little bit more than our inside game. So it's, it's all up to Coach Schaefer. He has a great game plan every day. And we just have to follow it.
Thank you.
Anything else for Aaliyah?
Thanks, Aaliyah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Bye.